Took 13 years for me to be officially diagnosed. And it took the pregnancy of my son for the doctors to pay attention. The cycling restored my gait and had me walking like I was a new person
Really?
in 6 months. Plus I had the added benefit of I lost the baby bump. And I didn't want to continue to look at it because it was a reminder of the loss.
Yeah.
So it was a really positive reinventing moment for me in my life because I got to work on the inside and the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to change my diet in a way and enjoy food in a totally different way.
Welcome to Life Chapters Podcast with Louise Fagan.
Welcome to Life Chapters. Today's guest, I am blown away that she made time to be here today. She's a strategist, a facilitator, and a partner development. Tyaisha A Blount-Dillon, welcome and thank you for sharing your story with the Life Chapters podcast and listeners.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, now, can you tell me a little bit about you and what you do now?
So what I do now is that I provide program support for people with brain health issues, particularly women and children. I focus on brain health as a whole, but more so on Parkinson's patients because I have been a Parkinson's patient for 25 years.
Now, 25, can you take me back to 25 years ago when you first found out about Parkinson's?
Well, so that's the caveat. I did not find out that the Parkinson's existed 25 years ago, but I had the first symptom. So the
Ooh.
first symptom was when I was 21,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so minuscule that I just overlooked it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the symptoms started to progress, and I was like, well, I need to go see about this. And when I started to see about it, it just sent me on a journey that I don't think anybody should have gone on because
Mm-hmm.
it took 13 years for me to be officially diagnosed. And
13.
it took the pregnancy of my son for me to be like, for the doctors to pay attention.
Now, what was that symptom that you first got at 21?
Just like it was more so like I would be very fatigued. That was the first subtle symptom. Very
Mm-hmm.
fatigued, and it was hard to lift myself up in the bed. So I'd be sleeping, and it's like I couldn't hardly lift myself. It seemed like my muscles were weak, and I was physically strong. I had always worked out, so I was like, "What is this?" And so that was like, okay, note to self: I need to take some vitamin B12 and get better rest because I was in grad school, and I thought that was it. And then it
Wow.
progressed to a muscle cramp, which I would describe as a Charlie horse. So if you experience that, it was so. I mean, I know people who've had muscle cramps.
Mm-hmm.
That was not intrinsic to me having it because when I ran track, I never got muscle cramps except for shin splints. So that
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, this is different. But everybody has cramps sometimes, I guess. And so it's not until the cramps got more prevalent that I looked into it because then it became debilitating.
Now, at 13 years later, on your first pregnancy,
Yeah.
did the symptoms increase or what happened? Like did they do tests specifically for that? Are they tests specifically for that?
I think the first trimester of my first pregnancy, I didn't even, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was kind of bad, but not that bad. I had difficulty walking and things like that, but the pregnancy was, I went through the third trimester and then that's when I had the baby, but he had passed. So
Ooh.
the second time we had to plan for it. But this is a blessing in disguise because this has made the doctors pay attention to what I was dealing with, and then
Mm-hmm.
we planned to protect me during the pregnancy and be more aggressive with the medical care. And they were able to diagnose me. They got scared and they were like, "Oh, we don't want to run the risk of anything happening again." So in the first trimester of the second pregnancy, they put me in the hospital for a week and tried to do rounds to figure out what I had. And so that's when I got a diagnosis of dopamine responsive dystonia with Parkinsonism. And so I'm gonna break that down for you. Dopamine responsive dystonia. That means you respond well to treatment that has dopamine in it.
Mm-hmm.
Dopamine responsive dystonia. Dystonia is the muscle spasms or the rigidity that I'm enduring, like the Charlie horse.
Okay.
And then the Parkinsonism is symptoms that resemble Parkinson's. So
Man.
that was the first diagnosis, the closest we've ever gotten. Thank you to the medical care providers that were so supportive during that time.
Now, did you have to go to a specialist or what kind of specialist treat that kind of disease?
Movement disorder. And I was going to a lot of doctors during the duration of this time alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened was I just got so fed up with the medical system, and I was just like, I'm going to do it myself. So after the pregnancy of my first son, I was like, look, I have to fight for myself. The physical therapist, although I love them, they said they couldn't do anything for me and they wanted to release me. They said that I was not progressing. I was not going to walk again.
Mm-hmm.
I got so mad that I did not accept that diagnosis in my head, and I had instantly developed a plan. So I had my background in science, so I was
Okay.
like, I'm going to do experiment. And so my experiment really consisted of me changing my diet,
Mm-hmm.
not taking all the meat out, but taking certain meats out, which was beef, and
Mm.
making more of a fish type plant based nut diet. Right. And I had a lot of eggs because I felt like I needed protein because my muscles were quivering. Right. So I
Mm-hmm.
needed protein to build the muscles up. And so I also worked out and I got rid of the physical therapist and hired a trainer so they can be really multifaceted in the training that I was going to do. I watched a documentary with Manny Pacquiao, and that was mind blowing, and that's why I got the trainer because
Why?
Manny
Why money?
Pacquiao,
Why money Pacquiao?
because he was experiencing the same thing I was experiencing.
Oh,
He said,
really?
yes, he said in his documentary that his muscles were quivering and he was a lot weaker than he used to be. And so he said the way that he was getting over it was like HIIT training or interval training, high
Mm-hmm.
intensity interval training. And so that's exactly what I did. I did that coupled with cycling 3 days a week. So I did
Mm-hmm.
cycling 3 days a week and the HIIT training 2 days a week or vice versa. And it was game changing. The cycling restored my gait and had me walking like I was a new person.
Really?
And yes, in 6 months.
That is
Plus,
fast.
yes, plus I had the added benefit of I lost the baby bump. And I didn't want to continue to look at it because it was a reminder of the loss, right?
Yeah.
So it was a really positive inventing moment for me in my life because I got to work on the inside and the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to change my diet in a way and enjoy food in a totally different way. I was cooking gumbo with quinoa, gumbo with couscous, or like beans
Yeah.
and rice with couscous and quinoa. And I didn't eat that way before. Yeah.
So your background in science, and
Yes.
you're like, screw this, I'm gonna do it myself. You did your own
Yeah.
research, and by listening to Manny Pacquiao and I'm sure other resources that you had, you started altering your habits, your
Yes.
healthy habits, your movement habits, etc. Now, what is one takeaway that you would recommend someone experiencing something like that at a younger age when you feel strong? You're like, how can I be so weak? Can't even get out of bed. Like, what is a first step that you would recommend now that you know a lot more?
That's kind of why I wrote my children's book, not just for children, but just for everybody to know that some things can happen, but just be aware that there are resources that could help you. Like the first thing I did was I read through some things, and you don't want to self diagnose because it can be stressful, but I,
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty spot on because really, I went to school for allied health first. So I was supposed to be not a like I got my degree in environmental management. That's my bachelor's, and I got my master's in biosystems engineering technology. But few people know that I started off in physical therapy. So I did, I think it was like 4 years of allied health it was going to be a 5 year program.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a program where you would have had a master's. No, I went 3 years. So you would have had a master's at the end of the program. So I just didn't get into the program because I never applied, right? I changed my major to environmental
Mm-hmm.
management. But that laid the foundation because I did like 60 hours working with physical therapists at LSU and different, well, not at LSU, but like they had LSU football players that would train there. And I had the opportunity to work with home health. And that's when I was like, cut it. Don't want to do it. Because it was too emotional. The men were like crying and they were like, nobody comes to visit me. I was like, this is too much. So I was like, if I love the trees, they won't cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that shape. I like that shift that you made.
Yeah.
Now, this is pretty intense what you had to go through since you were 21,
Yeah.
13 years later, losing your baby, but
Yeah.
learning and adapting and progressing through all that adversity. Now, is that the worst thing that happened, or is there something else that challenged you and almost broke you?
That was the worst. I think that was the worst thing. Probably the worst thing. And probably coupled with at that time when the onset of the illness was occurring noticeably to me, I was in grad school in Tennessee and I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And you have to realize I grew up in a bubble. I mean, a protected community because, my parents went to school in Baton Rouge. And my mom is from Louisiana. She's from Opelousas, and my dad is from Augusta, Georgia. So I was hugely protected because a lot of the people that I knew all my life, my parents knew their parents.
Mm,
So like we all treated each other really well. And we the beauty of it is that we get to see each other when I go back home for Christmas and stuff like that. We still hang out. But I mean, it was like a crew of like 30 something of us. And so when I went off, you trust people and sometimes they can't be trusted. You know what I'm saying? And so
yeah.
that also was hard pill to swallow, that you can't always, you give friendship, but you can't all people don't always reciprocate the same level of friendship. So that would be the only other thing that happened outside of
Now, how did you deal with giving? Giving being a good friend, but maybe not getting that in return. Like, how do you deal with those things?
I have to be honest. I was just like some people go inward, and I did go inward with all of these things for a minute, and I would say I probably checked out. But the thing is, I realized that you have to continue to live your life and go on, right? And to do that, you have to find joy in the little things, i.e., family, friends, or eating food, or exercising, or simply pouring into yourself, right? And so it's funny because I had met my cousin in graduate school. I never knew her before. So we met when I was at University of Tennessee. And we had become very, very good friends. But in the process of me trying to deal with these things, I blocked everybody out because sometimes you have to block out the outside noise.
Hmm.
Even if the noise is good, you have to block it out to hear yourself, right? And so that's what I did. And that's when I started this big, I'm going to work out, I'm going to get healthy, I'm going to get focused, I'm going to get my mind right.
And then
And
in 6 months, you got all your mobility back because you
I was
changed the
super
the
fly.
workout.
Yes. 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 Super fly. I mean, best shape that I had ever been in my life. I had a six pack. I never
What?
even had a six pack in high school. And I played soccer and I ran track. I was a year round athlete and I played basketball.
That's crazy. So you're telling me that this disease that it was keeping you, in bed.
Yeah. In bed, basically. Yeah, it just, and I remember, so one thing, I think another thing that lit a fire under me was the doctor told me that I couldn't drive because, I didn't, my gait was kind of off. And so
Hmm.
I was like, ugh, that's taking away my independence. No. So I was like, I thought if I did a whole bunch of squats and worked out, I would get it back. And I did. But the funny thing is, I would have to ride to work with my husband because my husband also worked at the same place I worked at, the
Hmm.
Forest Service. And so I hated that because like I like my time in the morning and I like to be independent. And I know you get married and you're supposed to lean on each other, but golly, I have to always lean on him. I didn't want that. So one day, I guess in a way I had been hiding that I was getting stronger. So one day, I don't know how, but one day we were walking into the office and I had like my cane and my assistive device. I left it in the car and we were just walking and we were walking quite swiftly. And he was like, "Wait, where's your where's your stuff? You gotta go get." And I was like, "I don't need it." And he was like, "You need your nope, I don't need it. I'm fine. Keep walking." And he was just, his mouth was like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What
It
did
was
he
a lot
say
later.
though? What did
He
he
was just
say?
really shocked. I mean, my husband is a man of few words. He's an introvert. But
Mm.
he was like, "Oh my God, that's crazy." I mean, and
Did you
then
talk to him about everything that you were doing to make that happen?
no, not really. The only thing I did was ask for his support because he had been going to physical therapy with me. So he was there, front row seat. And so he was there when they told me that I wouldn't be able to walk. So like, and he was there for the fallout of that. And so I was like, "Well, how do you feel about me getting a personal trainer?" Because we had just gotten married, and he's a little bit more thrifty than I am, right?
Hmm.
Just like maybe not a planner like I am, or doesn't, like not a strategist. So I was like, "Look, here's the price point: physical therapy or trainer." and the trainer was cheaper actually, and I didn't have to go to the doctor in like 2 years, like for medical problems,
Mm-hmm.
because I was doing so well from the workouts.
Wow.
So it reduced my incidence of having to go to the doctor. Plus, I got healthy. I mean, it was just so many gains,
I see that.
and so my husband actually started trying. Like the guy, look, the transformation was so unbelievable that he and this guy that we work with also went to college with him, and
Mm-hmm.
they would kind of low key make fun of me because he was like my fraternity brother, and he was like, "There's no way she's doing these exercises in this class." So I was like, "You
Hmm.
should show up," because I remember when I first started the exercises, I would almost low key throw up. I would need peanut butter.
Yeah.
I would need to keep the peanut butter. And I was like, "You should show up and work out with us." And I would say, and my husband would just peep in on the classes and stuff too. And then finally he started working out. Man, men and what they can handle. I mean, they were like brought to their knees at some point.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes we don't see what people are capable of just
yeah.
because we just see the exterior part and we don't see anything that is being done in the background,
You don't see the
which
heart. The heart.
exactly, because
Yeah,
people are strong,
yeah,
especially when they're being challenged
yeah,
often through
yeah,
health or just anything. People persevere and they start becoming a better mindset,
yeah.
better interior. Man, that is so cool. Now, you mentioned that your husband was always next to you. Was there anyone else that mentored you, guided you, like motivated you in a different way, either knowingly, unknowingly, but you're grateful for that person?
I had I think the whole church in the Missouri community, and I have to give you this perspective because I know that this is tough times right now that people are going through. So
Mm-hmm.
by me sharing this perspective, I hope that this renders a little bit of hope for society. But I went to church in Missouri. It was a Baptist church. And Missouri, where we lived, Rolla, Missouri, is like not a diverse community. I mean, we were probably the only, like, very few black people in the community. And when I tell you the whole church was very supportive of me and
Mm-hmm.
my journey and my recovery, I mean, that was one thing. And then some of the church, well, one of the deacons of the church was a chiropractor, a local chiropractor. So he would always work on me because he was my chiropractor. And, he and his wife were very loving to me. And then we had this Bible study group at church. They were like my ride or dies
Mm.
because I got very close with two of the females in my Bible study group, two or three of the females. And they just loved on me. And we would all go to the yoga class taught by the chiropractor.
Wow. Okay. So a chiropractor was a deacon, chiropractor, and used to teach.
Yes, you see what I'm talking about? It was a small, very small community.
Yeah.
But it's the community I feel like I really grew exponentially. That was the community where I came to that community as a person, not really maybe knowing myself and not knowing how strong I was and not knowing my worth or my value to society. And I
Mm-hmm.
came out just fearless, fearless. Because by the time I left the community, I had my second son, and I had just been through so much.
Now, let's stick with this topic of your second son because the first one, you had, doctors taking care of you, different procedures and looking after you, but you did a lot of work to get stronger. For your second son, did you have to do the same procedures as the first son, or how did that go?
No, because really, I wasn't doing nothing prior to the first son. I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to go to physical therapy, but with nothing was helping. So after the first son, that's when I just started this 2 or 3 year like crusade to get. I think it was like 2 years to get myself together,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of like I wanted to have another child, but it was like bittersweet because
Yeah.
I was feeling like I was such in, and so my I was in good shape, and I told my husband, I don't think I'll ever look like this again. This will destroy everything. This is horrible.
Work.
Yes, I was like, I don't. And then he was like, "You'll get it back. Come on,
Did
whatever."
you? Did
Well,
you?
I not to that extent, not to that extent. But I didn't have. I guess the drive wasn't the same.
Mm.
So I'm not brick house. And part of it, another part of it is like having a child and feeding your child. Because
Yeah.
children They eat what they eat. I mean, people like to say that they taught their child to eat healthy. My child was just a whole nother child.
What do you mean?
He's a so first of all, he came into the world with sensitivities, which is probably in part to all the eggs that I ate when I was pregnant with him. Because I mean, like he can't have like certain types of eggs. He can't. I mean, the egg white or the egg yellow. One of them he can't have. He's just sensitive to milk. He had a milk sensitivity. It's like all these things. But so trying to find a unique diet to accommodate his needs has been difficult because like during a time where the child is supposed to be tasting all these foods, I had to do the elimination diet with him. And
Did the
like,
same thing happen to the second kid?
well, no, because the second kid had already been deceased before they got to try the food.
Mm,
Yeah.
got it.
So William Wallace was spearheading that, and he basically couldn't have certain kind of food.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that is tough
Yeah.
because you're taking care of yourself
Yeah.
and then everything that you're doing for yourself. Now, maybe your son had something different now that created some sensitivity to his nutrition. And now you have to
Yeah.
like deal with that as well.
Yeah, that was hard. That was hard because in the community, I said it was a small community. You would think that there was like a lot of farmers markets and stuff. There was a
Hmm.
plot that we had in a community garden, but of course, when I got pregnant, my husband was like, "I don't have time for this community garden." So I was like running back and forth to the store trying to find what didn't exist. I mean, it was a small row, like organic food was just a
Hmm.
small row on a small part of the aisle. So wasn't very plentiful. And I would look on the internet to try to find recipes. It was just like I would send him to school with stuff, and the people would bring the lunchbox back, and they'd be like, he didn't eat this."
Mm,
I mean, I
man.
didn't know how to cook like that. It was just really
Yeah.
difficult. It was really difficult.
Okay. Now, what's a lesson that you learned that you're grateful that you learned it?
I think I have learned lessons incrementally through life. Just
Hmm.
a lifetime learner. And so, but one lesson: prioritize yourself and protect your peace. Absolutely. That's one lesson I definitely have learned.
What do you mean by protecting your peace?
Because I think that, and I think that this is with anybody, but when you do people management,
Hmm.
you're around different people, different dynamics. And so like I think like you have a persona basically. Like if you're a person that gives a lot or has a certain service, like pastors, they have a certain service,
Hmm.
and are like advocates, they have a certain service that you have to give. And I think that when you're always of service, sometimes you have to say, I have this boundary, this is when the service period is off. To take care of yourself, you have to rejuvenate.
Now, what
And
did
that
you do to keep your peace?
so one thing is let's just talk about the dynamics of work, because I work with some fabulous people, but these are just a few people, a subset of the
Hmm.
group that I work with, that I ended up being really good friends with. And so we would sometimes spend time together outside of work and things like that. And even just my normal population of friends. But sometimes you have to know your personality. I'm an introvert with extroverted qualities. So sometimes I
Hmm.
need to recharge. And that's the protecting your peace part, because if I don't recharge, it's not necessarily good. So I'm like, hey, give me a moment. I'll get back with you. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Knowing your personality and what you can deal with. And I think that's the beauty of the friends that I've acquired along the way, because we are so good to each other. I
Hmm.
mean, we respect the lanes that all of us are in professionally. I have amazing, talented women friends that are doing really big things in big places. And we support each other endlessly. It's just really nice how we can be a support system to each other and uplift each other, but then also respect each other's boundaries.
I enjoy you saying that
Yeah.
because your environment plays a
Yes.
big role. And
Yeah.
at the same time, knowing yourself and asking people to respect your boundaries, but
Yeah.
also you respecting your own boundaries. Because a lot of the times we're like, well, let me just do this for this person. It's okay. I'm exhausted, but let me just do it. But then that trickles down and it starts creating this
Yeah.
persona that now you just got to go into hiding to fully recharge when
Yeah.
you might just need a quick recharge on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, whatever it is that helps you.
Yes.
That is what you need. I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yes, and you know what else I learned? I
Hmm.
learned that it's okay that if you assert yourself with a friend and you say, "This is a boundary I have," and they get mad, it's okay. Because some, like kids, some adults don't respect boundaries. It's okay. Just you can just move on and be successful. Maybe not with the friendship or with the friendship. It depends on where the person is. Sometimes they
Hmm.
show themselves as being mature, sometimes they don't. It's okay. And so I think that's something I used to have a hard time dealing with because I used to be so tied to the people that I poured into. But that's life. People evolve, people change. You have to be flexible.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Now, with all that experience, what stage of your life are you currently in?
I would say definitely enjoying my life.
How are you enjoying it? I know you dance. I know you hike. I know you love nature. You like cooking now. Like,
Yeah, I
how
have
are
to
you
tell
enjoying
you.
life?
I have to tell you. This is so crazy. But shout out to Coach Stelly at University High for teaching me how to really swing a golf putt. So at my school, we learned fundamental skills in each sport, right? We
Hmm.
learned how to bowl and how to take score when we bowl. I think we probably learned how to take the score when we played golf, but we learned one thing I remember is Coach Stelly teaching me how to swing the golf putt. And I taught my son. We would go to the driving range when we had free time. And
Hmm.
as a result, he's really good. He says he's not because he says I'm just his mom and I'm just saying he's good, but he's really, really good. He won this contest doing that. And then recently, me, my husband, and son went to Hilton Head
Hmm.
and we went golfing on a golf course. Now, I've never done the golf course, I've just done the driving range. It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Would
I
you go back?
enjoy Absolutely. I'm looking for a golf course to join here. Like I already looked up my requirements. I want a place where you can network, where it's culturally inclusive and people can enjoy each other and it's a good place for a child to learn. I've already figured out my requirements.
That's good because when you play golf, I've heard that a lot of
Yep.
networking happens, a lot of business happens because people can tell just by looking at how you play as a
Yep.
whole
Yep.
if that's someone that you want to be in business with because it shows who you are as a character.
Yeah, like you could see that my son was so determined, and so analytical and just
Hmm.
calculating the distance. So like yeah, I can definitely see all those things.
I like that. Now, what do you hope people listening to you, to your story, can take away from everything that you shared today?
Well, I think from a personal level, I have realized that there are two types of people with Parkinson's. They're the type of people that like see that it's a horrible, horrible situation, but they don't see themselves in it. They see themselves on
Hmm.
the other side of it. That would be me. Or there's the type of person that just can't get past the demise that they see that is going to be bestowed upon them. And they get stuck in that place and it's like a revolving hamster wheel, right? And so I would like to empower folks to like push past that point of being a hamster and just going on that wheel and just break loose and just go to the other side of health.
Now, when it comes to Parkinson's, is there like a timeline that when people get diagnosed or when they see it happen, does it get severe? Is it pretty bad? Can it be controlled? Because you've had it for quite a long time
Yeah.
and you look really good.
So there's levels to this, and I think that people are just now finding out the levels that exist. When I first had my symptom, it was like 2001, and that was a time where they didn't have a lot of research about what you can do to prevail against Parkinson's.
Hmm.
Now they're starting to get research that says like walking up and down stairs is different from walking on a level plane. So if you get frozen or stuck, you most likely won't get frozen or stuck if you're walking up and down the stairs. Or if you listen to a metronome, you can continue walking if you get frozen or stuck. I was listening to Beyonce's music, trying to get my rhythm back when I was trying to rehab myself because I would
Hmm.
get on the treadmill or the I think it's called elliptical. It's
Huh? The elliptical?
elliptical. Yeah, I would get on that when I was trying to restore my gait because I equated my walk with music. So I was like, man, I know that when I was younger, I would just me and my friends would just dance and stuff like that in undergrad. So I was like, well, maybe that rhythm could help me remember to walk again. So I would like really listen to music and try to duplicate that, and that helped.
Mm.
So when you ask about, is there something that you can do to, is there something you can do to prevent the fallout of Parkinson's or the progression? I say be creative. Think outside the box. Think about how your body moves. Think about how the like kinesiology of the body. Think about your energy level and how you can address that issue,
Hmm.
and just do what you think would help within means.
Well,
Don't
thank
do
you for
nothing
that.
crazy.
Thank you for that advice, because a lot of the times we forget the mechanisms of our own body,
Yeah.
and we just like, hey, I feel tired, let me just go to bed, instead of,
Yeah.
what prevents from me being tired, which is, nutrition and staying actively moving,
Yeah.
doing the mechanisms of going up the stairs, down the stairs, flat, anything that you're trying to do, just do it for your own sake. Now, I'm a financial strategist.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's a financial habit that you live by, Taisha?
So I think one good financial habit would be to definitely look into like life insurance, like as a mechanism to use as a bank. I think
Hmm.
that's really, really smart. I think the model that I was taught, like to save, 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 is not necessarily the best way to go. I think look into investments. Don't just save in a traditional savings account.
Yeah.
You need to invest, I think. And I also would say being okay, this is one thing that I would say from my Parkinson's journey. Being a Parkinson's patient, pretty much every medicine that I've taken, I've invested stock in.
What do you mean by that?
How many people have Parkinson's? And the number is steadily increasing. So that they need the
Know the
medicine.
statistics?
Huh?
Do you know the statistics of how many
I
patients?
I'm gonna pull it up because I had it before and I don't want to misquote it because the number has yet risen. But there are so many people with Parkinson's disease, and so think about it. And the medicine is very expensive. Okay, so you need to invest in it if it's because you're not. There's no rate of return.
Yeah, that's smart. You're taking it, might as well invest
Yeah, because it's
in
taking
it.
you. Okay, so 85 million people globally in the last 25 years have had Parkinson's, and is projected to exceed 12 to 17 million by 2040.
Man. And it's crazy because, for example, I don't have anyone within my immediate friendship zone
Hmm.
that have that until I met you.
Yeah.
Before that, I was not aware of any of those things. Like, it's maybe like 1% of people. Is it 5%? Is it 80?
Hmm.
What's the percentage? And we don't realize
It's
until we have it or someone in our
a
immediate
matter of time.
environment.
It's a matter of time. And I'm saying this because, like, when I first started battling with it, nobody I knew looked like me. Nobody. I would go to Emory, and there were no black people in the waiting room.
Hmm.
No black people. Now there's tons. And I will say also, like, I'm starting to find out, like, sorority sisters who, like, that were my age that I hung out with, like, they know people, or their parents have it, that they didn't have it when we were, like, younger. So this is huge. This is really,
Hmm.
really huge because now then I know somebody who I can help, if that
Yeah.
makes, because before it was like I just had not had to struggle alone. Now I'm on the other side of it. I'm not really struggling to that degree where I feel desolate or lost,
Hmm.
but I can render some hope to somebody else.
Yeah, because you already went through it.
Yes,
You
yes,
already went through it, and you're the best person to help others that are just starting,
yeah,
because a lot of the times is realizing that you have it,
yes,
taking it, so you can start making change in
yeah,
your daily activities to get back on it.
yes, yes. Do you
Now,
think
go for it. One of the last questions is there something that I haven't asked that you would like to share?
how this book is like really game changing because it sets the framework for
Hmm.
brain health, and also it connects food disparities in brain health, right? Because I'm working with my nonprofit with Chef Tracy, who has been educating people about how to eat for your gut. And the gut has
Hmm.
a direct relationship to the brain. So if your gut is healthy, the brain is healthy. And so she's been doing that. And Dr. Dualcombe from the Michael J. Fox Foundation co hosted one of our sessions. So that was just wonderful that she was present. But I am just building this whole framework around food health and brain health and marrying the two in conjunction with Chef Tracy. And we just created an app. So, I mean, this is just a wonderful thing. Well, not an app, but it's a web based tool that teachers can use to
Hmm.
educate students about the importance of brain health and food deserts. And takes the students through exercises where they see how far the nearest healthy food supply is. So, like, I don't know, in your community, where's the closest grocery store? How many miles
Seven
away?
minutes, 7 miles away.
Okay, so a food desert is basically you live in a food desert. It should be 3 miles away or less. And so when it takes you longer to get to a food supply, you're not as likely to get healthier foods, is what
Very true.
the thought, yeah, the
Very
thought
true.
process. Yeah, yeah. And so, like, it's just getting kids to think around the fact that, okay, no, might not have the healthiest food supply, but you can get some seeds because the county agent gives you seeds for free, or some of them, I know.
County agent?
Yeah, that's the 4-H people. You know what okay? So
I
do you know
don't.
about 4-H?
No.
Oh, this is
Hey,
crazy.
I'm learning. I'm learning. So what is this? The
So
Forest H?
no, 4-H, 4
4H.
dash 4-H. So I was a 4-Her when I was younger. It's a club that you can start when you're in fourth grade, and they really teach you a lot about agriculture. It's basically like a future farmers of America type thing.
Hmm.
So like you can, if you're interested in equestrians, like in riding horses, you can do riding horses. If you can do horse judging. You can cook. So they have these cooking contests. So I used to participate in the chicken Q contest, which is a barbecue contest. I used to barbecue chicken and win, right? So now they've evolved to where they have different other things that they offer. My son, he was doing archery through the 4-H club. So there's a lot of opportunity, but the 4-H club is usually housed out of the county extension office. The county extension office they offer a lot of opportunities for people, like if they want to grow their gardens, they have the master gardeners. And so they are assigned to certain gardens that they help cultivate around the city that you live in or the county that you live in. They also have different classes. My husband took a pepper jelly making class. And so he wanted to make pepper jelly and took a class. So they have all these classes, I think they have a class on how to make preservatives and preserves and stuff like that. It's wonderful, but it's a wonderful resource. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I'm going to look into that because I'm interested in learning more about cooking, about agriculture, because very important. That's the way that you keep your gut healthy.
And speaking of that, I just got into a new, and these are things that make me happy. You asked about what made me happy, so it's
I
not
can
like
see
I'm
that.
getting off a tangent. I have just got into fermented drinks, right? Because that's good for the gut health. And so my son just loves kombucha. And he needs to get his gut in order. So this is the easier way for me to get him to drink it. And so I made ginger beer.
Okay.
And do you know ginger beer? Do you know,
I
have you
know
had?
ginger and I
Well,
know beer separately.
no, it's the same thing. So it's like it doesn't they call it ginger beer, but it doesn't have a high alcohol content. It's like zero zero to no alcohol content because you let it ferment until the alcohol content is out.
Hmm. And what does that do?
Well, so it restores the good bacteria in your gut. So fermented drinks are good for your gut. It's like a probiotic of some sort.
And, I've never, well, I think I tried kombucha once, like a little
Mhm.
sip, and I did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I never tried any fermented drinks since that time.
So yeah, it is acquired taste, and I don't really enjoy kombucha. It tastes okay, but I mean, it's not my favorite. So, but I will say that I love ginger, and ginger is fermented, right?
Mm,
And it's the
God. Okay.
same process. So they have this thing. So if you look on TikTok, there's this people love to make fermented sodas. And so this is kind of how I got into it. The fermented sodas are the healthy drinks that you can drink.
Mm,
And so I tried this apple orange mix. My husband was like, it's not good. It was okay. I tried this type thing. My son loved it. I tried this pineapple. Do you know tapache? Tapache? It's
No.
like supposed to be some kind of drink that like Spanish or Latino people make. It's called tapache. It's fermented and you use pineapple. It's good. It's good.
Really? Huh. Do they
Yes,
sell them at
that's
the
where you get
stores
it.
or is it just like homemade?
No, you gotta make it yourself. You gotta make it yourself.
Okay.
You gotta get a container
Mm-hmm.
that you can seal really tightly, and you gotta put some ginger. You gotta put ginger and get a ginger. You gotta make a ginger bug. So that's like ginger and sugar,
Mm-hmm.
and then you let it sit for a couple of days and let the bubbles form. So you know that's ginger bug.
Yeah.
Then you put your pineapple and stuff in it and let it ferment. You gotta watch it on TikTok.
I mean, I'm learning a lot
It's
from
so
you
good.
today.
It's so good. It's so good.
I'm Tapacha. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying this
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah,
Now,
it's good.
my last guest left a question for my future guest, and you happen to be that future guest.
Huh?
You ready for the question?
Yes.
The guest said, "How has community brought you strength?"
That's good. That's good. It's just I don't think community is something you do. Community is just something that is a part of you. Only because of my culture and where I'm from, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Louisiana being a strong community of like Mardi Gras and camaraderie and family. Like we went to Hilton Head, and the guy on the course was from the guy that worked at the golf course was from Louisiana, and
Mm-hmm.
he just instantly connected with us because we were from Louisiana. It's just something about the community that we have developed that just it's like no other. And so how has it helped me? I rely on the memories of that when things get hard, and it kind of keeps me going
And
because
it
I
has kept me going.
yeah, because I know that I have a place that I call home, and I know where I'm from.
Yeah. Going back to the roots, the
Hmm.
community, the
Yeah.
strength that you get from just you being the community and bringing that anywhere that you go to.
Yes, and I think that it does not. It also helps that my family has these huge family reunions every year,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a charter and we have a crest, and we really know who we are, and we do this exercise with the kids where every time we have a family reunion the kids have to do a presentation on how we're related, like the linkage, because we want them to know that there's a history.
Yeah. That is so important to have the kids learn that
Yeah.
linkage because I don't know past two generations.
Yeah.
I don't know anything what happened before that. I'm not aware of it. I mean, I guess I can look it up, but it would have been nice to hear that from parents, from grandparents, great grandparents, so on and so forth, and being passed that down to us, for example.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I'm so happy to know that I can tell you our patriarch is Papa Jules. I'm so proud to say. I mean, and that's like pre-Civil War.
Hmm.
And so that is incredible for me as an African American to say we can trace our family lineage back to that.
Yeah, that is powerful. That is
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
Well, Taisha,
Yes.
I've had a
I know you're
blast.
exhausted.
Oh no, 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 no! I can go forever. You know, you and I, we can talk forever on the
Yes.
phone, and it's a pleasure and honor to hear your story, the journey that you have gone through, and now you're paying it forward to everyone else that is experiencing the same symptoms that you did when you were 21 years old, so they can start tackling it a lot sooner.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I am going to ask a favor to leave a question for a future guest, and
Hmm.
then also a tip to your younger self on one of the postcards that I am doing to
Hmm.
bring tips to our younger generation so they don't have to go through them. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Now, to the listeners, I appreciate you guys for sticking around, listening to Tyaisha's story. Hopefully, you took anything away from it. And if you know anyone that experiencing something similar, share this video with them so they know where to start. And if you look right below, you're going to find Tyaisha's information. In case you want to contact her, you're going to find my information and the link to tips to your younger self.
Yes.
And remember to pay yourself first. See you next chapter.
Thanks for being part of this project to share people's journey. Like, share, and subscribe. See you next chapter.